So, a new update is coming for Throne of Liberty. It has been announced for the Korean server, the return of the Tevent Guild Raid, the new Death Tome appearances, the return of the Lucky Mystic Portal event, a bunch of weapon fixes and balancing, including some nerfs here to Sword and Shield, and some stat caps, like hard stat caps you don't want to go above. They are thankfully increasing the amount of artifact bag slots and a whole load of different fixes here. So let's go through everything in this video. As far as I could see, the Tevent Guild Raid hasn't really changed. It's the same process. You buy those tokens, you will use them, and you should be able to kill them 4 times during the 2-week event. Make sure you purchase those stones at the guild merchant. With regards to those death tomes, you'll be able to access a section in the Mirror Boutique, and it's important to note, you will set the tombstone for the enemies you kill, and if you die in PvE or through like fall damage. It is said here, when setting the purchased tombstone to PvE, it will be displayed as the set tombstone when you die. This when killed by an NPC or fall damage. And when you set the purchased tombstone to PvP, this will be the tombstone of the appearance of your defeated targets. So when you kill an opponent, the appearance of their grave will be displayed as what you have it set at. So I guess you can do a bit of trolling. So far, there seems to be just this selection of 4 ones. Proceeding on with the update details, we also have the return of that Lucky Mystic Portal event, which is, again, just like that treasure hunt event. You open the Mystic Globe, it will spawn a Mystic Portal, which will lead you into that map area where you can collect some treasure chests and get some extra rewards. It was actually a pretty decent one. Make sure to have some Mystic Keys for that. But again, you are limited to the Lucky Mystic Keys. You need those to access the Lucky Mystic Portals, and we will get 3 every day through the check-in event for the 2 weeks. But again, you have to open the globes, so you have to have the normal Mystic Keys. The loot table here does not really look like it has been updated, although they've added a bunch of archboss weapon fragments here, but most likely a very low drop rate, as you can only obtain 1 of these following items. But looking at some weapon changes, pretty much just for the Sword and Shield, we can see their block is losing the damage reduction effect, but they are increasing the value of the shield you gain from 40% to 20%. If we look just here, it could give you 117 damage reduction. And yes, that shield of 14% of max health. So this is pretty much a nerf for PvP, along with a nerf to counter barrier as a result, as you won't be able to reflect quite as much damage without having that pretty big boost through your block. But in terms of PvE, it's a buff. When you successfully block a rage attack like a fury or wrath attack, you will now get a 20% of max health shield. Then there is simply a tooltip update to counter attack on your counter barrier, just clarifying the distance. It says 3.3 times the attack range, not 4.5, as that was just simply incorrect. A bug persisting since they went and increased the base range of melee weapons. Chain Hook similarly said it had 6 times when in fact it was just 3.3, and they have fixed a visual display bug with Chain Hook where the indicated range was incorrectly displayed with your rake when you were using the Della's Noah sword. But then Bastion, they're nerfing it just like Blood Devo. Your target will no longer be able to be affected by it for 45 seconds, simply preventing you from gaining that buff, just like with Blood Devotion, making it less effective to have 2 Sword and Shield users in the group. In some ways this can affect PvE with regards to that damage boost, but also PvP for that damage reduction. The damage reduction never really was very effective for PvE unless you had a boss which done a ton of little hits, like, yes, Torture's Chamber of Screams. But then stat caps, they're just flat value hard caps for these stats. Attack speed, maximum 150%. Buff duration, maximum 150%, and cooldown speed, maximum 200%. Simply so you can't go above those values. It's probably quite possible with legendary gear and upcoming legendary accessories. So make sure you're aware of that and don't stack those stats above this point. Be careful of temporary stat boosts. Particularly Spear gets a lot of temporary attack speed through its abilities, and don't end up going above that value. As for artifacts, they've thankfully increased the number of slots to 300. I still think this should be like at least 1,000 or infinite, rather than having to require you to actually delete those artifacts. Because if they had an infinite amount of slots that you could just keep every single artifact, this would actually solve it so much. You would no longer have to delete any with Meteor Transmutation, and you could simply save every single one and then sort them here via the filters based on any you've obtained, and you don't actually have to worry about deleting them. That would probably be the easiest fix they could possibly do to artifacts, but for now they're just increasing it to 300. I hope that's 300 plus whatever extra slots you bought. But that's about it. There's a lot of small fixes here, some to the raid and a lot of them to the Amatoy PvP arena. They are returning this outfit back on sale for the Korean server. And again, it will be kind of amusing with those new tombstones. And it will be based on when you kill somebody, you will have their tombstones set to what you chose, which is a funny way of doing it. And I guess it makes sense. Further incentivizing you to purchase and set an amusing one to kind of troll the guys you kill. So thanks all for watching. A special thank you to all these channel members for your extra support. I'm gonna see you guys around. Goodbye for now.